Hi, my name's Susan Rushton, and this is Lifelong English Major. And I'm thrilled to be here with a lifelong English major, and I want to share with you why I call it this, because for years I did books maybe once a year. I talked with writers maybe once a year, maybe. And then finally I decided, heck no, I'm a lifelong English major. Why don't I do this every month? So I'm doing it every month. And so first, before I introduce my guest, I want to share a book, Body and Soul by Frank Conroy. You can see how old it is. It's old, and but it's beautiful. It's exciting. It's interesting, and the focus is on music, and a guy who knows everything, who learns, who teaches himself, who learns about music and working and playing on a piano. And this is just wonderful, and it has absolutely nothing to do with my guest. And I don't think at all he's even remotely interested in writing, in walking, in dealing on a piano. This is John Downes. And what do you call yourself?
The Time Traveler.
The Time Traveler, yes.
Yeah, I've earned that reputation.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that the camera I want to look at?
Mm-hmm. But yes, that's when you talk about the emails, all your emails, and all the important things.
What's an email?
Yeah, so you won't be looking over there.
Oh.
And so you don't have to look over there.
Oh, okay.
But you can look over there, and you can also look at that one.
Well,
it doesn't matter. People aren't going to pay any attention to you anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, John, I'm asking you to be my guest with Lifelong English Major because you are a writer. You and I have our columns in the Auburn Journal, and I don't know how long we've been doing this together, but we've been doing it for a long time. Do you know when you started?
You know what? I don't know. It's been at least 10 years, I think.
And longer.
You think it's been longer?
Yes.
Well, I think I told you once, you asked me at a writing class we had. Do you recall this? I showed up. I was wearing my duster.
You were in my writing class?
You don't remember this?
I guess that was long ago. Farther
long ago, yeah. I wanted to take a writing course, and so it was particularly windy and rainy, and the leaves, when I opened the door, the leaves blew in with me, and I know how to make an entrance. So
Yes,
I stood there at the entrance for a while and let it set, this image, and I looked like I just got off of a horse in 1880 in Wyoming. And I think I looked around the room, and there were a bunch of
women.
Ladies whose kids are grown, and their husband is out playing golf, and they wanted to write the great American novel, and they want to learn how to do that. And I looked around the room, and he looked at me, and he said, "Oh my God, that goes the dynamics of my writing class right there." And if I recall, the first question you asked me was, "Mr. Downes, have you ever written anything?" And I said, yeah, about 300 or 400 letters to women who hated my guts. Does that work for you? Until they finally got a restraining order, and they made me quit.
Oh, I think he's charging. he's making this up.
No, I'm not. This part I'm not making up. And then we got into an argument over O. Henry. Not an argument, a discussion.
A discussion. We aren't going to argue about them.
Well, we don't argue about anything. I don't argue with anybody about anything. I have my opinion. I think everybody's entitled to it.
And yes, and sometimes people agree with you.
Occasionally. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, it goes back how long?
I don't know.
Long time.
Years and years and years.
Yeah. The difference between your column and my column is that you know how to write, and I don't. I talk and write the same way. So when you read my writing, you're hearing me. I don't know how to write. I don't know the difference between a noun and a verb.
Oh, he does too.
And a
does
dangling
too.
participle
He
I
does
thought
too.
was some kind of a male
Dagging.
medical malady. So I
Of
don't.
what kind of participle?
Dangling?
Dangling
Yeah.
participle.
What is that?
If he didn't know about it, he wouldn't know, you wouldn't know what it was.
I read about one somewhere. But anyway, no, I write.
Are we going to be laughing this whole time?
Well, that's
Okay.
the idea, because that's what I'm basically a humorist. But anyway,
Basically, yeah.
that's what.
And I disagree with you strongly. I think you are a good writer. Of course, somebody else is writing for you. You write, and then somebody else makes it better, and then send it.
No, nobody touches my column.
You're kidding.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Oh no, that would
No,
get you would lose a hand doing that.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So, so yes, you are fun. Yes, you are funny. Yes, you are a writer about the ends. I mean, the earlies, and what you have done in the past, and what you think, and what you're going to do if anybody will let you.
They can't stop me. It's been tried.
But I think it's always clear what you're thinking about and what you have in mind.
Because it's easy. It's who I am.
Say that again.
It's easy. Oh look, my denture slipped again. It's easy. It's easy because I know who I am, and I'm comfortable. I'm not much, but I'm all I could scrape together one little tiny pile, and I'm happy with that.
I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. and you look how he's smiling, and you don't see him smiling much.
I try not to.
I see him smiling a lot because I laugh with him. I laugh with him.
Well, at least you're not laughing.
I laugh. I do. Yes, I do laugh at you, and with you, and so it's a kick always to be around you.
I know it is. I enjoy it.
Yes, and he has ideas and an attitude that is always interesting, and so when did you start to be a writer? Was that with me?
Oh, I wasn't kidding about the writing love letters to women that hated my guts. I was
Uh-huh.
serious about that.
Uh-huh.
Serious heart attack.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there was a lot of women that were not impressed with me. But
When you were trying to make them
I
impressed.
thought I could, convince them that I
And
was.
so did I help you?
Oh yeah, you were a help. Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah. Certain words I don't use anymore, like that is a word I don't use anymore.
Wow.
I don't know. It's unnecessary. It's an unnecessary word.
You heard it here first. Maybe. Okay. Well, okay. Is that what I said? Is that
Oh,
what
I'm sure that you probably mentioned it somewhere. You were a big help. Yes, you were.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah. No, don't sell yourself short.
All right. Please say some more. Don't.
Don't stop now.
But you are writing now for the journal.
Yes.
Do you write anywhere else?
No.
Okay.
I should, I suppose, but
And if you did, what would you do?
I don't think. See, I write for older people. Millennials and anybody else that came after the boomers, they don't know what the hell I'm talking about. They have no idea. They just don't.
What makes you think so?
Well, because I get calls every week. You probably got your number.
No, not very often.
Oh well, I get
Very
them.
rarely.
But it's mostly from older people,
Uh-huh.
and they can identify because it's their life. It's one they remember.
Okay.
And those people are fading away one by one, and I'm a 35-year-old guy. Maybe I get a few, but not very many.
Okay.
And so when all the people of my age pass away, I'm going to be talking to myself. Well, I do that anyway.
I understand that.
Yeah, I got a dog I talk to. But other than that,
Yes, and the dog talks back.
Oh, he does. Oh yeah, I love my dog. He. If you got outside my door and you put your ear to the door, you would hear two voices, separate voices. One voice saying, "Dad, can I have a snacky?" And the other voice says, "No, I'll go sit your butt down there in the
But
door." I already get.
come on. I want some.
Yeah, yeah, it goes on that way. Yeah, yeah. So he's got his voice, I got mine, but we understand each other completely. I love dogs.
You like that one?
Oh, well, I like all dogs.
Okay.
Yeah, all dogs. I do. It doesn't matter. I like animals anyway. Thing about a dog, for instance, and even a cat to some extent. They no matter what, they're very loyal to you. They love you. That's the one thing that they do.
Sometimes. The
Well,
cats are.
Well, cats are a little more independent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Um, so you call yourself traveler,
Time travel.
time traveler.
Yeah, very important, the time part.
Okay. Why?
Well, very simply because I grew up in El Dorado County, in the
What county?
El Dorado.
El Dorado.
In the
Where
lake,
in where?
in the, it's on the other side of what used to be the American River. Now it's Folsom Lake. I really detest Folsom Lake. I've always considered to be a collection basin for muddy snow water with the possibility to fish. It ruined a really nice river. But nonetheless, I grew up on the other side of the river before the lake was there. And the nearest neighbor we had was Old Man Darrington, and I think he was maybe 6 or 7 miles away. Closest one we had. And the house I grew up in is still there, as a matter of fact. I worked on it a couple of years ago. It was built in 1862, and it was at a town that used to be called Cooper's Ravine. It was a mining camp in 1850. And so it was very rural. The house did not have electricity. It was the same as it was when it was built in 1850. There was no changes to it. And so go ahead.
How did you how did your folks get there?
I don't know. I think my dad was on the lam. No, I don't know. I don't. No, we were. My dad had some illnesses. My mother had some illnesses. As a matter of fact, she was sent to Weimar in those days. And so in those days, if you had tuberculosis, it was you got locked up.
Yeah.
That was it. And so I visited my mother too. But I think we moved out there because we were broke. And the house was, like I said, it was not much of a house. I loved that house. Still do. But at any rate, it was...
Why did you love that house?
Because it gave me a perfect childhood. It was a perfect childhood because I grew up isolated.
Nobody around
around.
for 6 miles.
No electricity.
So you could do anything you wanted, and
I was Huckleberry Finn after Huckleberry Finn was Huckleberry Finn. But you know they had it was like living in 1890 because basically there was I still have my coal oil lamps. I have everything that I had when I had then. And I mean you have to adapt.
And get used to it.
To that lifestyle, but it wasn't so bad. My mother finally got a Maytag washing machine, but since we didn't have electricity, it was a gas-powered washing machine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it had a starter on it, a kickstart like a motorcycle. So anyway, and then, like I say, I know how to trim a coal oil lamp. So I lived in the 19th century. So the other thing that set me off on the path that I'm on is since nobody would come out that far, the people who would come out and talk to my dad would make the trip were old guys. But when I say old guys, I mean they were born somewhere between 1890 and 1910. So a lot of them came along before the Wright brothers ever flew an airplane. So what old guys do, they do what I'm doing now. They talk about the old days. So they'd sit on the front porch, shoot the breeze with my dad. I'd sit there and listen to them because there wasn't much else to do, and I'd spit watermelon seeds at the cat and listen to their stories. And by the time I was 7 or 8, all of their stories I had ingrained in my own head because they were the memories that I had. I took their memories since I didn't have my own yet. And once I started making my own world, making my own memories, when I look back at the past, I don't know for sure whether I'm remembering for them or for me. So, as a result, I actually more comfortable in 1900 than I am in whatever the hell century this one is.
Yeah.
And they can take that, well, never mind. I won't get into any opinions about my opinion of this century. I'll just let that go.
Oh, cool. Well, why?
Because I don't belong here.
But here you are.
Well, I come out here. I come forward from the past. I have Jana. Now, when you say Jana approves my column, nobody improves it. She writes it exactly as I write it, but I have to have her transcribe it. Because when I first started writing for the Journal, I think when I started it was before Dennis Noon. You remember Dennis?
Yes. remember a lot of them.
Yeah. And how many have we outlived in the last 10 years?
I don't
6?
remember. I don't know.
A whole bunch of editors have come and gone.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, who is it? Poindexter.
Yes.
My first column when he took over as editor, I says, notice to our new editor, keep an empty cardboard box by your desk because you're going to need it to put your pictures in when they fire you. And he's there for a long time now.
Yes. That's
But,
good.
Anyway, Dennis, what did I start with Dennis? Why did I bring him up?
I don't know.
I don't know either. You know, that's the other problem getting old. You know, you lose your train of thought. And
I wouldn't know that.
Yeah. No, of course you wouldn't. I noticed that. You know. Anyway, what was it about Dennis? It'll come to me later.
You.
Oh, I know what it was.
Yes.
I got it.
Yes.
When I first started writing a column, I write it in pencil. And matter of fact, I have to focus because the pencils are this long.
At the beginning.
And they start, and the problem is this pencil wobbling back and forth distracts me, so I have to break the pencil in half, sharpen the end that's shorter with an eraser because that's my spell check, and then I can write. But nonetheless, I wrote it in pencil. And one day I came in, and Dennis said, "John, can you do?" Because it was a pain in the neck for those people at the Journal. Can you do something else? And so I thought about it, and I went home, and you may not, well, I'm sure you do, Nancy Haddad, that used to own the Idolize,
Okay.
and she gave me a set of quill pens that she got from somewhere. And when you get a set of quill pens, you get one for the left side of the goose and one for the right side of the goose. So goose, yeah, quill pens, that's where they come from.
Oh, okay.
Well, I just said that. I assumed they come, I don't think they come from a duck. I assumed goose.
Okay. I have
Anyway.
no idea what they were.
Anyway, so I got this set of quill pens, and they were already sharpened. And you know what's amazing about that is how well they write. I mean, the only problem is you get an occasional blot, you know. I mean, here, think about this.
I'm thinking.
Here's Thomas Jefferson out there writing the Declaration of Independence, and right in the middle is a big ink blot. Can you imagine how that must have affected him?
Yes.
No wonder he's frustrated. Anyway, so I wrote the next column in a quill pen. That did not go well.
All right.
So that's when I had to have other people transcribe the column to get it from my century to theirs.
Yes.
So
that's must be helpful.
Oh yeah, otherwise no. So anyway, that's why they call me the time traveler, because I literally do not belong here.
You don't have a typewriter?
You know,
Well, you don't type.
I can't.
You may have a typewriter, but you don't type.
Well, I have my dad's 1936 Royal or Underwood.
You have a typewriter.
Yeah, and then yeah.
And it doesn't work anymore.
Well, I'm sure it does, but you know, I'm a hunt and peck. You know, my dad used to write, and he could hunt and peck, but he had plenty of time.
Okay.
You know, so I'm not a good hunter and pecker. So that didn't sound good, did it? Well, anyway.
I think you're a great hunter and pecker.
Anyway, so that explains the time travel.
Yes.
And then Dan Ernest, I don't know if you know him or not, he did a short little movie as an advertisement.
Your father?
No, Dan Ernest, he used to be a real estate. Never mind, it's a long story.
Oh.
No one will care. I could tell the whole
won't,
story.
We
Nobody
won't
would
talk
still
about that.
No, let's not waste the time.
Okay. I want to know what your father did.
Well, he was military disabled.
Okay.
So he died young. And,
How young?
I don't know, in his 50s, I guess.
Okay.
But no, when my mother was in Weimar, there was just he and I. And so since we didn't have electricity.
No, it wasn't. It was him and me.
Yeah, I like he and I because it sounds like I'm, you know, educated. Even if I'm not. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so since we weren't doing, we had no electricity, he would read to me every night. That was the difference. He would read stories that were, he wouldn't read stuff that he wanted to read. I mean, that I wanted to read. You know, he didn't read stuff like Tony Wanted to Pony and Elmer the Elephant. He would read stuff that was way over my head. He would read, all of Huckleberry Finn, Tom Sawyer, To Kill a Mockingbird. Well, To Kill a Mockingbird hadn't been written yet.
No.
But that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Of Mice and Men, And he read to me one time, he read to me the Last of the Mohicans. I love that story because uh, I, well, it was, I lived whatever he read. So
Oh my.
he read Last of the Mohicans for about 2 summers. I was Chingachgook,
Okay.
the noble savage. They were all noble savages in those days.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I was Chingachgook, and then when I got up, dressed up in the morning, actually my mother was home at this time, she made me an Indian outfit. But the Indian outfit consisted of 2 pink washcloths and an old belt that she had. And that was it. So I got up in the morning, which is way out in the country. My belt with my 2 washcloths was hanging on the wall, so I took the belt, put it on, and I tried to line the pink washcloths that were front and back, more or less. Sometimes they were side to side. And
Yeah.
we hadn't have any guests, so it didn't matter. So anyway, so that was my Indian outfit. And so I think I wrote in there one time, the living in the forest that far out, you don't have any white noise. Here in town, you think you're in the silence. You're not. And in that environment, you hear nothing except maybe a woolly worm crawling under a dry fig leaf. You hear everything, but I put in there that it wasn't that there was an absence of sound. There was a purity of sound, kind of like the brushstroke of sound on an empty canvas. You know, you could hear the blackbird hectoring that hawk up there. You could hear a woodpecker over there. You heard everything. So it was all pure sound. So when I was playing Indian, and then there for a while I became, I did a lot of things. You also read, if you can believe this one, Moby Dick.
Uh-huh.
That's all. I tried reading that to my kids. It was a tough read. It was a tough read.
Yes.
But anyway,
So he read a lot to you.
a lot.
Yeah.
Bunch.
And it's still in your head.
Oh yeah, my favorite I think was oh God, you know when you get old you forget names. Zane Grey. And you know it's funny. I was trying to remember here 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, bringing back memories, and I found a set of Zane Greys. And I tell you what, when he was reading to me, the Death Wind or whatever hero it was is hiding in the loft. And this Indian comes up and he comes in and it's raining and he sees the mud on the step of that ladder and he knows there's something up there. Boy, the back of my hair would stand up. Or in Treasure Island when Jim is in the apple barrel and Long John Silver is reaching behind him in the book to grab an apple. Oh my God! Oh, he's gonna find Jim in the apple barrel. You know, so I mean, it scared the hell out of me. So nothing is equal that in television sense because it was all here.
All in your head.
Right.
Yes, yes. You saw it, you knew it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, that's what he did. He did as long as he could.
And yeah.
So
and you tried to do this to your kids.
Oh yeah, they were experts on mice and men long before they ever got to school. A 3rd grade book report was done for them. My son Dan has the damn words memorized to Mice and Men. There was a movie with John Malkovich and Gary Sinise, and of Mice and Men is a very short book actually. And did you know that Len and George grew up here in Auburn?
Who?
Lenny and George and Mice and Men?
No.
Yeah, I grew up right here in Auburn.
I didn't know that.
You'll have to read it again.
I will.
It's right at the very beginning.
Okay.
But at any rate.
Auburn.
Auburn.
Okay.
Yeah, they were raised by an aunt here in Auburn somewhere. It doesn't say where, it just says Auburn.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
And you're sure that's in California? Because there's
Oh, no. This is Steinbeck. He wouldn't write about Auburn, Washington.
Oh, well.
No, he wouldn't.
Okay.
Trust me on this. I know John Steinbeck. I knew him well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, what else you want to know?
I want to know what you sell.
What do I sell?
You don't sell. You work. What do you?
Oh, I do home repair. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go back to that soon. You know, I started out 40 years ago. I started out in Auburn, and I owned Auburn. Owned it.
You told me this yesterday.
All the old gals. I say old gals. I'm a little old man, so I can call them little ladies.
You are not a little old man.
I am a little
You're
old
a
man.
tall old man.
Who? What?
Okay.
This is a family show. I don't know what you just said, but
You're
I
a
think
tall old man.
I think I'm offended. Anyway.
I know you're offended.
And offensive. So anyway,
Go ahead.
what I'm going to start doing, just for kicks and jollies, I'm going to start knocking the same doors that I did 44 years ago. And the first door I'm going to knock on is Ray Hatchup's door, because that was the first door I knocked on. He's long gone now. It's probably, the house has been sold 16 times over since, but I still.
Are you sure? 16? Do you know that?
Who? What?
You said.
Oh, I don't know. I made that up. I make up stuff. You know, when I do the column, you know damn good and well that I make up words. I know it really confuses spell check people. 'Cause I just make them up.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anyway, so anyway, that's what I'm going to go back to doing. I have a son that works with me, and I don't do the heavy lifting anymore. But I still work. I know how to do stuff.
Yes.
Probably better than most,
Yes.
or as
Yeah.
good as some.
So you have a son here
Yes,
in, where do you live?
Auburn.
Newcastle. No.
You remember you lived here.
Yes, but I thought you lived in Newcastle.
Well, it's Auburn. It's all Auburn.
Newcastle isn't Auburn.
I drive. You know what Newcastle is to me?
Home.
It's a place to drive through to get to some place I want to be.
Okay.
I'm on the board there in Newcastle, but
I'm not surprised.
yeah.
I'm not surprised.
All right, what else you want to know?
Gee. So you have a son here,
Yes,
and you have children in
various places.
various places.
My son is in Douglas, Wyoming.
That's the son you're talking about?
No.
You
My
have-
son Jason is here with me.
Okay, and there's another son.
I have 4 kids, 4 boys.
Okay. 4 boys.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's what it is. I mean, my wife unfortunately took her powder when I was young, so I had all 4 of them. So I've got 4. Youngest one, Dan, wasn't in school yet. Jim, the twins were maybe in the 1st grade, and so I realized at the very get-go when I was by myself with 4 boys that I'm going to be a lousy parent. So what I decided to do is just become head kid and see if I couldn't keep us out of jail.
Did you succeed?
Largely.
Good. Good. Okay.
So,
Oh my. Okay.
so anyway, my son works. My one son, we all 4 used to work together, but they've moved and they're going. Yes. Oh, we got. What is the guy pointing finger out there for? Oh, it was 2 fingers. That's
He thinks
okay.
it's really wonderful.
I think that means a 2-minute warning. Is that what that? Oh, good.
Yes, yes,
good.
yes,
Oh, I got this figured
yes.
out now.
Okay. All right. So John Downs is a writer, and I started him to be a writer. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it's very nice.
It's amazing. I thought you had been writing long before.
Well, my dad wrote a lot of stuff too, but he didn't get a chance to write. He wrote a lot of stuff, and it was printed somewhere in magazines.
And it was really.
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
Got something left in my
I'd love to
briefcase.
see some of that.
Okay.
I really would.
It's really old stuff.
Oh, of
and
course
it was in
it is.
magazines. It wasn't books.
I understand that, but I would like to see that.
Okay, I'll find something.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, John Downs. He's ready to, he's in the Auburn Journal with me. John, thank you very much for joining me.
Are we done talking now?
We're done talking
Thank
now.
God we got that over.
Thank you very much for watching.